Hello, everybody. Just gonna put my laptop back a bit. Yesterday it seemed really close. My face seemed really close to the camera. So, okay, I'm remembering to look into the webcam, not at my screen. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to replay viewers. If you're catching the replay today, I'm going to talk. Today's day two of online business building essentials, and I'm going to talk with you about identifying, measuring, and achieving specific results. It's all about results. So, yesterday I spoke about you solving a particular pain point. There has to be some level of pain or some gap that you're going to fill in your client or your customers' lives. And when you do that, you're providing a result. And when you can identify, measure, and achieve that result, help the client to achieve the result. You can't achieve it for them. I mean, if you're telling your client, I'm going to help you to lose 10 kilos, you can't achieve that for them, but you can help them to achieve that. And then this is why it's so important to have these results, because then you can share and let other people know. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, I have been online for 9 years, coming and going. Not seriously online for 9 years, but that's when I did my first serious workshop back in 2013. And I probably learned that too about results. But just sometimes you don't realize how critical it is, how important it is. And what I'm sharing really is do as I say, not as I've done, because these are all the mistakes that I've made up to now. And I want to share just a little bit about, one of the reasons why I've changed niche. Because now my specific niche is helping coaches and online service providers to get to 5K in 5 weeks. And if you're already at that stage, to 10x it in 10 weeks. The reason that I'm doing that is they're very specific results. Now, I don't think that when people join my 5 week program that they're all going to earn 5K on the dot on the button, but that is the goal. That is the results. That's the results that we'll be aiming for, that I'll be talking about and helping clients to achieve. Previously, now as a mindset coach, it's harder to measure, and I'm not discouraging if you are in that niche. I mean, it's a very valuable niche, but it can be harder to measure. And and I really, the reason that I struggled so much with my niche, with narrowing down, what it is, what result I provide, or what result I want to focus on providing and market myself as providing, is because I love to help people with, I have a background in stress management, and personal growth is something that I've been reading about since I was 16. That's a long time ago, and learning about. And, there's so many different areas, but I like the financial results because it's very tangible, and you have to grow as a person in order. I'm not saying that everybody who's earning lots of money has grown as a person. Obviously, there's different types of people, but typically people who will follow me, in order to earn that, you've got to earn, substantial amounts, and to increase that, you've got to overcome. There's some overcoming of yourself to do. There's some fears. There's some blocks. Typical blocks like oh, I can't take people's money. And you forget that you're providing value. Remember yesterday I mentioned it being a value exchange, and you're totally discounting that value. And people will show up more when the more they pay, the more they will show up. If they're not showing up, maybe part of it is because they're not paying enough. That's generally the rule. Now, there is also, like I say, I'm sharing this for free, and you do provide free content in order for people to get to know you and like you and trust you. But I can guarantee you that if you guys had paid me 10,000 to participate in this training, you'd be showing up live, you'd be doing the homework, you would be really committed, because when there's money behind it, there's that really strong, firm energy, which is why I'm helping you by then inviting you to the next step with me, where you do invest money, right? So that's just a little side note there about money and money mindset and how it works. Money is energy. But the reason that I switched to that niche is, part of it is because it's easy to identify, measure, and achieve. One of my favorite testimonials, because it's so easy and specific. I've got lots of really nice testimonials, but one of them is the one I mentioned yesterday from Rachel, like tripling her income. It's a true story. In 3 months, she tripled her regular income um, through working with me. And that's very tangible. So what I'm inviting you to do today is to really think about, and just, it's very, very important that you think about the result that you're going to get for your client. I mean, if you, like I was talking about yesterday, if you have 10 university degrees and you share a load of theory with your client and they don't get tangible results, they're going to leave with a load of theory, and theory never got anybody anywhere. It's practice, it's implementing things, and it's getting results. So think about, what results do I want to help my client to get, and what's my best shot of achieving that result. So when a client signs with me, I always start with a questionnaire. And actually, the way I work, I find it very effective for measuring as well and for identifying. I create a Google Drive file, a Google folder for the client. And in that folder, at the start is the questionnaire. And then I do a resume of every session, actually. I'm very organized. And it's really good for the client to look back on and see, and if they have homework and actionables, etc. But the great thing about the questionnaire is that helps the client and me to identify what is the specific result that we're aiming for with this coaching. What's the specific result? The more specific, the better, right? I'm just thinking of one client I have at the moment, wants to leave corporate but is afraid to, doesn't have a clear enough vision yet and a clear enough plan that they'll feel confident enough about. So a really great result that I'm hoping for, I'm trusting will happen, is that they do leave corporate and they take on a fantastic project that something awesome comes from it. So that would be, because then I can say afterwards that this person worked with me, and as a result of that, obviously you cannot take 100% credit, but you can say, this is what they did, and that you hopefully had a part in guiding them in that direction, that you supported them to find the courage and the clarity, etc., to get there. So with that client, I'm not going to be able to say, well, they earned this. No, well, let's see. Haha. If they do, actually, because that was a suggestion, is that they double their income, that their current salary, that why not? Why not double it when they leave? So it could be a potential outcome, but it's not the main one. But then I have clients that are starting to sign up now for the financial element, and it's much, much easier to measure, to identify and measure and share. I've other clients that have signed up for well-being, and they'll get good results. They might get fitter, lose weight, feel better. A really good way of measuring is by saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel currently about your weight? How do you feel currently about your body image? Funny story, when I was doing the work of Byron Katie, when I was sharing workshops on that, and the work of Byron Katie is a process where you identify and question stressful beliefs, a very powerful structured process. And I was sharing sharing a 4-minute pitch. It was an elevator pitch at the British Swiss Chamber of Commerce. It was very daunting, full of men that I didn't know, and I just stand on this box and talk about it, but I did it. And then there was a Q&A after, and one man said, how do you measure your results? And I remember it was so foreign to me, the concept of measuring results. At the time I was so innocent, and I was like, oh, and I was totally at a loss about how to answer. So now I've become better at that and helping the client to see the progress that they've made. And that's really important too, to help your client to see, because sometimes they're not really, they can't see their progress that well, and it's brilliant to keep checking in, keep measuring. So think about, for your niche, whatever pain you're solving, whatever your niche is, think about, how are you going to measure getting closer and closer to that solution. It's super important, and then you can use that in the future as a testimonial. So let me take some examples. If you are in the online dating niche where you help people to find the love of their lives, the specific result would be to find their soulmate. Or you could say, I guarantee that you're going to go on 10 dates or something. 10, if you're a matchmaker, I guarantee that you're going to go on 10 um, suitable dates, right? So think about results that you can promise, inverted commas. Promise, I say inverted commas, promise, because okay, there's no guarantees, and if the client doesn't show up, decides that they don't feel like going on the dates anymore, then it won't happen, for example. Um, the shed, I was talking yesterday about the guy who was he's in the niche of building sheds, and in his program, he helps clients to learn how to build a shed. So obviously the result that he's promising is that you'll know how to build a shed in a day after taking my course. A very specific result, very tangible result. My 5 weeks to 5K program, very specific, measurable, tangible. So if you can put in also in your promise the number of days or weeks, actually even 35 days to 5K is 5K in 35 days is maybe even more specific than 5 weeks. So think about, how many days, in how many days, and what is it? Can you measure it? If it's weight loss, it's an easy one as well. If you are in something to do with emotions, improving emotions, then it's a little bit harder to measure, but think about it. Tag me on it and let's look at it. And also look at how others market themselves, others in that niche online. I say niche, and I'm conscious that there's some people in the US that call it niche, but so I apologize for that. I call it niche. Yeah, think about, what you can promise and how you can measure it in your niche, and tag me if you are having difficulty with that. And yes, check other people in that niche and what are they doing. The people who are really successful online, the ones that are successful, they will be talking a lot about results, benefits and results. I mean, I'm sharing this now and I've heard this for years. Speak about the benefits, not the features. Speak about your results. And I resisted it for so long. And oh yeah, here's something I should say. Part of the reason that I resisted it is, it's like, oh, I don't want to, like, maybe my clients don't want to be exposed, and I want to respect their confidentiality. So personally, I ask permission, or either I ask permission or I don't mention their name and I talk about just a client, and yeah, don't draw attention to that. But also it can be, especially in the business niche, it can be good exposure, right? If I share that somebody, as a result of taking my program, got this result, then people will check out that profile, will check out that website. Oh, who's this person that worked with me? And it is good exposure. So it's a win-win. So yeah, think about that as well, that benefit. Okay, so identify the pain that you solve, identify the results that you're going to give for your client. Be completely results focused. It really doesn't matter. I was actually searching on I was searching on quotes beforehand around results, and now I can't find it now, but it's basically, it says, or I read something and it said basically that, companies, it's all about results. Shareholders, they're always going to, it's a numbers game. And yeah, so employees don't feel very good about that because they feel like just a number going towards a numbers game. But that's the reality of it, because uh, you know oh yeah, there was one quote saying basically, if a project failed, so the numbers aren't good, the measure of hard work will be forgotten. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you worked 50 hours or 10 hours on it. It's the result that counts. It's always the result that counts. And like I said yesterday, you're gonna hire the person who gets the results, not the person with the qualifications and the certifications. So remember that too. So make your business about results, not about certifications, not about how flashy or glossy your website or your branding is. All of that is irrelevant if you cannot share a result you have, that you're able to get the client, that you're focused on getting for the client. All about results. I want all of you to get rich and happy and have financial freedom. That's the result that I want you to have. And I wanted to start out by getting 5K in 5 weeks. And then from there, that you say, oh, now I can figure it out. I know how to do it. So then you 10x it. Voila. So this is not so long, this training, but it is super important. So I do want you to focus on it and think about it and tag me, letting me know what results you provide for your clients and talk about it a lot. I can't wait to celebrate your success and to share your results. And of course, if you have, if anything that I've said in the past has led you to a result that you have now, please let me know and give me permission to share that, because it allows other people to have that opportunity, because social proof is the best proof. Where do you check when you check someone out? Where do you look first? You look testimonials, right? What are other people saying? And if somebody has had a great experience, that's how I discovered the work of Byron Katie. I mean, when I looked at it, I thought it was this weird process, but I noticed it had had a phenomenally positive effect on my friend. And that's why I was so curious, because she'd been through a really hard time, and she had no anger, resentment, or bitterness, and in a situation where she would have been really entitled to. And I thought, wow, what an incredible attitude. So I became very curious about this process that she explained was the reason why she got there. So the result that she got was what attracted me to the process. And then also, it's like you don't really care too much about the how. It's like you just want that result. So the how is not relevant. It's the result always. Okay, how many times did I say the word result in this training? I hope that that's really clear and that gives you food for thought, and that you'll never ever forget how important this is, because it's all that counts at the end of the day. Tell me if you've got any questions about this, or let me share in the comments below if this has helped you. Lots of love and have a great weekend. And I'm going to be back next week, Wednesday, with training number 3. I'm off to Dubrovnik in the morning.